So I'll ask you what I know you've asked yourself before. Why does it feel like men don't take you seriously anymore? Why does it seem like no matter how much you've lived, no matter how deep your heart is, no matter how ready you are for real love, men look past you? They flirt. They linger. They may even seem interested for a little while. But when it comes time for something real, something steady, something deep, they pull away. And maybe the worst part is, it didn't used to be like this. You remember a time when you didn't feel invisible. When you could walk into a room and feel seen, feel wanted, feel chosen. You haven't lost your beauty. You haven't lost your mind. But something has changed and you feel it. Let me tell you what it is. And it has nothing to do with your age. Men don't lose interest in women because they get older. That's a lie, a cheap excuse. What actually changes is this. Over time, after enough disappointment, enough confusion, enough people telling you to be less, you start to doubt your worth in small, quiet ways. And that doubt doesn't scream. It whispers. It whispers when you get ghosted and immediately wonder what you did wrong. It whispers when you tell yourself to lower your standards so you're not too picky. It whispers when you pretend to be okay with seeing where it goes, even though you know you want commitment. It whispers every time you say nothing instead of saying, "That didn't feel good to me." And the thing is, men hear that whisper too. Not in your words, but in your energy. I've seen it happen. A woman walks into a relationship full of light, full of strength. She's been through fire, and she's still standing. She's not bitter. She's wise, but slowly she starts shrinking, laughing at things that aren't funny, staying quiet when she should speak, accepting crumbs of attention and calling it chemistry. Not because she's weak, but because the world keeps telling her, you're lucky if a man still wants you at your age. That kind of lie, repeated enough, becomes internalized. And here's where it gets real. Men don't respect women who are unsure of themselves. And I say that not as a criticism, but as a truth. Because respect doesn't come from how you look or how much you give. It comes from how you carry yourself. And when a man senses that a woman doesn't fully value herself, he won't value her either. Not long term. It's not about looks. It's about energy. There are women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond who command a room without saying a word. Why? Because they carry a stillness, certainty. They don't audition for love. They don't over-explain. They don't chase. They don't make themselves small to fit into someone else's comfort zone. And that brings me to the most important thing I'll say today. The reason men stop taking you seriously isn't because of your age. It's because of a mindset that many women slowly start to carry without realizing it. A mindset that says, I need to prove I'm still desirable. I should tone it down so I don't scare him. Let me not ask for too much. That mindset shows up in the way you walk into a room, in how you respond to a text, in what you tolerate after the third, fourth, or fifth date. Men read it. We feel it, and we react to it. Not always consciously, but instinctively. A man will not fight to keep what he senses you don't fully believe you deserve. Now I want to give you an example. Not a theory, a real example. Maria, a woman I coached briefly through a mutual friend, was recently divorced after 22 years of marriage. She's 58, still stunning, still sharp. But after her divorce, every man she met seemed uninterested in something real. She kept attracting emotionally unavailable men, and every time one of them pulled away, she told herself it was because she was too old. But that wasn't it. She was doing something I see far too often. She was auditioning, smiling when she wanted to speak, texting first every time, staying quiet when something bothered her, over-explaining, over-efforting. So I gave her one shift. I said, stop trying to prove you're worthy. Just start expecting to be treated like you are. 2 months later, she started dating a man who showed up completely differently. He listened. He planned. He respected her time. He asked about her boundaries. And when I asked her what changed, she said, I did. I stopped waiting to be chosen. I started choosing. That's the mindset that flips everything. I am the prize, not in a superior, arrogant way, but in a calm, grounded, self-knowing way. It's the kind of mindset that says, I don't chase, I observe. I don't force connection, I allow it. I don't stay where I'm not respected, because I respect myself first. And men, we feel that. We may not always know how to name it, but when we meet a woman who carries herself like that, it does something to us. We step up or we step off, but we do not treat her carelessly, because she doesn't allow it. She doesn't need to scream or argue or prove anything. She just knows who she is. And that energy alone makes the wrong man uncomfortable and makes the right man show up better. So what does this look like in practice? It looks like this. You stop chasing men who only show up when it's convenient. You stop calling inconsistency potential. You stop waiting for him to define the relationship. You define what you're available for. You stop settling for almost effort, almost commitment, almost love. You speak your needs early, calmly, clearly, not to push him away, but to give him a chance to rise. And if he doesn't, you walk with peace, without drama, because you know what's at stake if you stay. Your peace, your time, your self-worth. You stop seeing your age as a disadvantage. You stop trying to act younger, look younger, dress younger to keep up with some idea of what you think men want. Because what high-value men actually want is presence, peace, depth, clarity. And you don't get that from someone who's pretending to be someone she's not. You get that from a woman who owns her experience, her sensuality, her wisdom, her calm. So if you felt invisible lately, if you felt like men just pass you over, I want to challenge you. Stop asking why men don't take you seriously. Start asking, have I been taking myself seriously? Not in the way I talk, in the way I show up. Do I carry myself with expectation or apology? Do I ask for what I need, or do I hint, hope, and wait? Do I shrink to fit a connection, or do I walk away when it doesn't match what I know I deserve? Because once you shift your internal state, once you walk like a woman who knows who she is, everything around you changes. Men change, conversations change, behavior changes. Not because they got better, but because you stopped settling. I'll say this again. It's not your age, it's the mindset you walk in with. And when you shift that, when you lead with self-respect, with quiet confidence, with emotional independence, you stop being an option. You become a standard. And that's when the game changes for good.